guys, welcome back to my channel again. And for today's vlog, as promised, I am going to do a part 2 of my blog regarding the caregiver step-by-step process application going to Canada, which is the DIY application or do-it-yourself application. So are you ready, guys? Then let's start. So last time we tackled about the first step, second step, third and fourth step, right? Which is the first step is to do the ECA. The second step is the IELTS exam. Third is the certificate that you need to gather, your documents you need to gather from the Philippines, and then fourth is the job searching, like to find an employer to have a job offer from here in Canada, from an employer here in Canada. So right now I'm gonna start regarding the next step to do. Like, let's say for example, if you already found an employer and you already have a job offer, okay? Many of you are having a hard time on doing the requirements. Of course, I know it's not easy. Coming here in Canada is not easy, so we have to go through a lot of work for this, like the paperworks. Anyway, in my time before, when I came here in Canada, when I applied here as a caregiver, it was the LMIA that I waited from my employer. My employer here must have to advertise first a job, and then to get the LMIA, and then when it's positive, they had to send a copy to me in Cyprus, and then that's the time I have to apply for a working permit. So working permit first. As far as I know, it's you don't need the LMIA. Instead, you will need a job offer if you are applying outside Canada. Let's say for example, you are in the Philippines, or you are in I'm not sure for India or Turkey, or in Africa. I'm not really sure, but let's just say for example, if you are applying as a caregiver from the Philippines, okay, so you must have a job offer from the employer. You must have to have a copy of that in order for you to apply a working permit here in Canada. So actually, it's not just the working permit you need to apply. You have to apply for a working permit, and then the temporary resident visa, or the TRV. That's what you need when you want to come here in Canada. So let's do first the working permit application. Okay, so first is we have I wrote it here. Okay, so we had if you know already, if you listen for most of my blogs, I always tells you about the site of Canada, which is the canada.ca. It's there in your screen. You can see it there. That's the site where you have to go if you want to apply for a working permit from outside Canada. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you have to find the guide 5487. What is this guide 5487? This is the guide for applying a working permit, which is outside Canada, if you are outside from Canada. So it's the guide 5487. So from there you can see the table of contents, like guys, I'm reading this for all of you, but actually you can do it in your own. While I'm saying this to you right now, I'm telling you this right now, you can go through that site, and you yourself can do the you can read it, guys, like, you know. So I cannot do it everything here. Like I cannot read everything here and give to you all, so you need also to do some research, since I'm doing my research too, right? So I'm just telling you a guide, so for you to know where to go and what to do. So if you see the table of contents in there, it says there's the overview, and then before you apply, you need to read those what's in there, so you know, guys, what are you going to do. Okay, then there are the steps that you have to do. The first one is you have to gather the documents. You have to fill up the forms, and then pay the fees, and then submit the applications. That's the 4 steps. So guys, if you click, like if you see in the screen, there's step 1, gather the documents. If you click them on canada.ca, you will go directly to the page where it says what are the documents that you need in order for you to apply the working permit. And then there's also the forms. That's step number 2. You can fill out the forms. If you click them, you'll see also the forms. You download them in Adobe, and then you fill them up. And then step 3, you pay the fees the fees, I mean. And I don't know how much in peso, in Philippine peso, or in other country, but in the working permit here in Canada, it's about 155 Canadian dollars. That's what I paid before. And then you have to pay that, either you have a debit or credit card. And then don't forget to print your receipt, because you're gonna need to submit that together with your application. And then step 4, you have to submit the application. It's either for me, I could recommend the online application if you are applying from outside the Philippines. So it helps you because you don't need a courier fees to mail, for the delivery time. It helps you to make sure also that your application is complete before you can submit it. And then what else? You can quickly submit more documents online if the IRCC or the immigration will ask you to. And then you get updated on the status of your application directly in your account. Okay, so how are you applying? Okay, so you can just let's say, like, you can put there, if in your screen you can see that online, that's the one recommended. And then where you're from applying, let's say for example you're from Philippines, you just type Philippines there. And then from that, if you're online applications from the Philippines, you have to make sure first that you have the instruction guide, the visa office requirements for applicants in the Philippines, or the PDF 395, a scanner or camera, a valid credit or debit card. Yeah, you have to always have that. And then depending on your situation, you may need to submit statutory declaration of common law union. You need to have also an account to apply online, so for you to use it to pay your fees, to check your status, and extend your permit. So my advice is create an account in this website, the canada.ca. And then you have to find out also if you need biometrics. For sure, if you haven't, if you're outside from the Philippines, and because the biometrics is valid for 10 years. So if you didn't have biometrics from before, then you must have to apply a biometrics. You have to make sure that you also pay that. So when you pay, you can pay it together. So it's like, one-time payment. And then if you submit your application online or by mail, you can give your biometrics after you pay for and submit your application and biometrics fee. And then you get a biometrics instruction letter that will direct you to a list of official locations. So that you may choose, like, if whichever is convenient for you guys, or closer to where you live, or whatever that's convenient for you. Anyway, I'm telling you all of this because I want you um, to know, if ever you want to do it by yourself, to apply by yourself. But if in case that you don't want to apply on your own, you can always go to an immigration consultant or an agency. Let's say, for example, you're tired of doing this, right? Like sometimes, like for me when I was in Cyprus, I'm not really that time, because I'm working, I'm busy, so I don't want to have another in my mind thinking about this, that, and I have to do. So I asked for a an agent. She's an agent, like she has a agency that she is affiliated to here in Canada. So she's the one who helps me to find an employer and then do all my paperwork. So what I need to do only is to just to fill up the form. That's what I need when I apply here. So it was easier for me. But unfortunately, the disadvantages for that is that you don't know, like you won't learn how to do it on your own, right? And the next thing is you have to pay a lot of money. Like imagine, I paid before, when I was still in Cyprus, I paid like around 5,000 euros. So that exclude the medical that I did, the IELTS. So it would like roughly like around $6,000 that um, that I had I mean that I already spent just to apply here. So if you want it to be like, if you don't want to spend that kind of money, I don't know how much that money in peso. So if you don't want to spend that kind of money, so you can do it in your own, as just like what I've said before on those steps that I gave you from the first blog, from the first DIY blog that I mentioned, and then this blog. So next thing to do is like you can actually submit your application in person at a visa application center, or the VAC, that's what we call them. You may be able to book an appointment in advance to give your biometric at the same time that you submit your application at the VAC. If you can't give your biometrics when you submit your application, you will have to make an appointment at the VAC to give them at a later date. Okay, so where to give your biometrics? Okay, you need to book an appointment to give your biometrics at one of this official biometric collection service. So if you click that like they had this biometric collection service points, if you click that one, you will see all the places where you can do your biometric. There's a document checklist on it. You need to to print that document checklist, because that will be your guide in your application. So at least it will help you to gather all your supporting documents that you need to apply for a working permit. Okay, let's say for example, you know what, if you do not send all your documents, there would be possible that they might they might delay the process of the documents, because sometimes they ask you some more documents if they're not really like satisfied with your documents. They're gonna ask you, so you have to be ready at all times. So you have to have your proof of identity, a valid passport or travel document that guarantees you to re-enter the country and or territory that issued, and you have also 2 photos of yourself and accompanying family members that meet the visa application photograph specification. So this photo, it is not like I heard some, that they send a family photo, they send a whole body photo, whatever. Now, you have to know the visa application photograph specification, guys. It's like you have to go to you have to print it, and then when you go to where you have to go for a picture taken, I don't know, in the Philippines, where you go to Fuji or whatever, wherever, you have to give them the instructions so they know what to do with the photo, okay? And then you have to have also the proof of employment, as I've mentioned before, that LMI, I was with before, in my time I was with LMIA. So if you need an LMIA to work, a copy of it, well, the employer will give that to you, and then a copy also of the contract, yeah, from your future employer. And then if you are exempted for LMIA, then wait, let's check. You will have also the they must have to give you the job offer. So you have to remember that, to ask from your employer to give you the LMIA or the job offer. I think right now, they, like in my times before, it was LMIA, but now I think job offer. So you have to have a copy of that, and don't forget the copy of your contract from your future employer. So it's important. Then you must also have to have the proof that you are eligible for the job. So it should be a valid Canadian provincial or territorial trade certificate, education requirements, or past work experience outlined in a resume. So as I mentioned before in my first blog regarding the, what do you call this, the ECA, the equivalent. So, and then the reference letter from your employers where you worked before. If you have also a copy of your tax whatever tax info, we call it here notice of assessment, what is it in here, your pay stub or whatever. You must have to have like a copy of certificate, and you don't have this if you don't work in Quebec, so you don't need to have this certificate of acceptation. Okay, so next, proof of relationship. So you may need to provide a marriage certificate, birth certificate. So for any accompanying members, they must have also this. And if you're in a common law relationship and your common law partner will come with you to Canada, you must also fill out the statutory declaration of common law union, or the IMM 5409. Then you have to send proof listed on the form to support your relationship. And then other documents, if you are not a citizen of the country or territory where you are applying, you must send proof of your present immigration status in the country of or territory. And then other documents, if you are not a citizen of the country or territory where you are applying, this one, if the government that issue your passport or travel documents requires a re-entry permit, you must receive it before you apply for a working permit. You may need to give us more documents. Okay, well, I'm just reading all of that, guys, but actually you can read it on that website where I told you. You just have to type applying permanent, work permit outside Canada. Okay, so next step, you have to fill up the form. So you must fill out and submit this form. So you must have to have the application work permit made outside of Canada, which is the IMM 1295, this is in PDF form. Okay, so the document checklist. I've mentioned before that you need to print the document checklist as well. The family information, IMM 5645 or IMM 5707. Statutory Declaration of Common Law Union or IMM 5409. Use of representative if you are using a agent or representative to do your paperwork. But if you do it on your own, you don't need this one, so just exit. If you don't, then authority to release personal information to a designated individual if it applies to you. And then you're gonna pay the fees. So application processing fee, the open work permit holder fee, a biometric fee. So you can actually now, in my times before when I apply coming here, we can't apply for the together with the open working permit and what do you call this, the permanent residency. But now in your time, which is really good timing for you guys, you can now apply that even if you're still in your country and you're still there and not in Canada, and you can already apply that. So it's really good. You're lucky, guys. So step 4, you have to submit the application. So where do you apply? Okay, you may send your application to a visa application center or the VAC that serves your area, or you can apply online. So I can actually, like, let's say I'll put it in in the screen. Okay, so you don't need to. Okay, now